Billionaires are supposed to be untouchable, but wealth doesn't repel danger, it attracts professionals. And when someone has $50 million in jewelry in one place, criminals don't see security, they see opportunity. This isn't ordinary burglary, it's mansion raids, Mediterranean villa hits, and scams so quiet they happen without a single window breaking, heists that feel like Hollywood, and cons that run on paperwork, routines, and trust. In this episode, we're stepping into billionaire crime. Shocking cases where the elite were robbed or scammed in ways they never saw coming. We'll look at victims like Lawrence Escalante, Tamara Ecclestone, and Ty Warner, then zoom out to the ecosystem behind it. Repeat crews, professional networks, and diamond world chaos that proved even the most secure vaults can be beaten. Here's the real question. How do you rob someone who can afford anything? You don't fight their security head-on. You wait for the one weak link. A post, a schedule, a routine, a trusted person. Stick around to the end because I'm going to ask you one uncomfortable question. Which billionaire was the easiest target and why? First up, Lawrence Escalante, the Mykonos wake-up call. July 2025, Mykonos, one of the most photographed playgrounds on Earth. Escalante is in a sprawling private villa with friends, secluded location, layered security, the kind of place people assume is untouchable. And then it happens, on the first night. While everyone slept, an organized group allegedly breached the perimeter and moved with chilling efficiency. Not chaos, precision. They reportedly bypassed security, got inside, and went straight for portable high value. Cash, designer items, and luxury watches. The haul was reported at over $1 million in cash and goods, plus the headline loss. An ultra-rare Richard Mille X Pharrell Williams watch, reportedly valued at over $5 million on its own. Here's the part that hits hardest. The villa wasn't insecure. The weakness was visibility. In the billionaire world, the flex is also a broadcast, travel, location, lifestyle, sometimes posted in real time, sometimes leaked by the circle around you. And when criminals know you're asleep inside a villa full of trophies, they don't need luck, they need timing. So ask yourself, would you ever post your location while you're still there? Or is that the modern version of leaving the front door open? Now we move from Mykonos to London, where the real flex isn't a beach, it's an address. In December 2019, Tamara Ecclestone, daughter of Formula One billionaire Bernie Ecclestone, was hit by one of the most notorious UK home burglaries in recent memory. She and her family were away for the holidays when burglars allegedly struck with near-perfect timing after travel plans were publicly visible. The target was a $70 million mansion on Kensington Palace Gardens, literally nicknamed Billionaires Row. And this wasn't a quick grab and run. The thieves reportedly moved through the house with calm efficiency, accessing multiple safes and leaving with around $25 million in valuables. Jewelry, watches, cash, heirlooms, diamond pieces, 30-plus, high-end watches, and designer bags like Hermes, Chanel, and Louis Vuitton stacked like inventory. The most unsettling part, even with guards, alarms, and CCTV, the gang allegedly slipped in through the garden and got out before anything stopped them. Footage reportedly showed them moving through the home as if they belonged there. Tamara later described it like an inside job, because at this level, it's not enough to know what to steal. You have to know exactly where it is and how to move. Now let's switch the crime style completely, because not all billionaire theft is physical. Sidney Kimmel, billionaire film producer and philanthropist, Hollywood-level success, major projects, massive resources, became the target of a fraud scheme that's almost insulting in its audacity. It was orchestrated by an inmate serving time in a California prison. The alleged mastermind, Arthur Cofield Jr., using smuggled cell phones, fake identities, and carefully crafted communications, the scheme reportedly aimed straight at financial systems, wire transfers, fake documents, and legitimacy theater. Think emails that look official, calls that sound like lawyers and bankers, and a chain of approvals designed to bypass human suspicion. And here's the nightmare fuel. The scam allegedly moved money through shell accounts and into purchases, gold, luxury cars, while the guy was still behind bars. For months, it reportedly went unnoticed until extravagant activity exposed the fraud. This is the billionaire security paradox. You can hire guards for your home, but how do you guard against human error inside financial systems built on speed, trust, and convenience? Here's a question. What would you trust more, your bodyguards or your bank's fraud department? Next, We're back to a classic billionaire burglary, but with a detail that makes it even colder. The criminals got in, got the goods, and basically evaporated. Don Germazian, tied to the massive American Dream Mall project and the billionaire Germazian family, was reportedly targeted in November 2019. The location, Riverdale, the Bronx, an affluent area with high-profile properties. The theft, over $1 million in jewelry and designer handbags. The timing is what makes it feel surgical. Reportedly around 5 p.m. on a Saturday when no one was home, the crew forced entry through a rear balcony door and went straight for portable high-value items, jewelry, and roughly 30 luxury handbags. Police released footage showing multiple suspects leaving the property, confirming a coordinated group, but the case became an example of a brutal reality. Even with cameras, even with guards, even with a known timeline, sometimes the trail goes cold. And that raises the uncomfortable thought, are these criminals just thieves? Or are they running the same way professionals run businesses? Planning, scouting, execution, exit. Now we move into a different category entirely, because not every billionaire crime story is about diamonds and watches. Ty Warner, the billionaire creator of Beanie Babies, is known for being reclusive. But in May 2025, a violent incident at his Montecito property shocked the billionaire community because it wasn't a quiet burglary. It was chaos, confrontation, and severe injury. According to the account provided, an intruder named Faye, described as a military veteran with a history of violent encounters and time behind bars, wandered onto Warner's oceanfront property, claiming it was his and ordering people to leave. Police were called. When deputies arrived, they found a woman, identified as Linda Malik Aslanian, with serious injuries outside the residence. She reportedly suffered a severe brain injury and was in a coma. The intruder allegedly barricaded himself inside and was ultimately arrested after jumping from an upstairs area, with police dogs involved in the apprehension. This story hits differently because it shows the scariest version of security risk. It doesn't matter what you own if someone unstable and aggressive enters the environment. And it fits a broader fear in elite neighborhoods. When criminals shift from stealth to force, the threat becomes personal. Now let's zoom out from individual victims and talk about a machine, the Pink Panthers, a global crime syndicate linked to massive jewelry thefts. These aren't amateurs. They're often described as executing fast, theatrical robberies that overwhelm security by speed and confidence. One of the most infamous stories tied to this world took place in August 2013 at the Carlton Intercontinental Hotel in Cannes, during the peak of tourist season, where an exclusive high jewelry exhibition was underway. The scene is almost absurd. A single man enters blending in like a wealthy guest, baseball cap, sunglasses. Then he pulls a gun, calmly orders staff, and clears display cases in minutes. No chaos, no firefight, just efficiency, and the escape, reportedly on a bicycle, like the ultimate you can't be serious ending. The haul was estimated between $100 million and $150 million, with reports linking some of the showcased items to major diamond figures like Lev Leviev, 7th on the list, and it's HBJ. It's a case that sounds almost unbelievable, and that's exactly why it worked. Hamad bin Jassim bin Jaber Al Thani, HBJ, former Prime Minister of Qatar and a major power figure, reportedly fell victim to an elaborate fraud scheme in early 2022. The angle? A man in the United States allegedly presented himself as a psychic spiritual advisor and convinced HBJ's assistant that jewelry needed spiritual cleansing to protect him from harm. And then the assistant, acting under manipulation, sent jewelry overseas over several months, often uninsured and without standard safeguards. The reported loss, around 17 pieces, estimated at $100 million, possibly higher, including exceptionally valuable diamonds like a notable pink diamond. The scheme unraveled when a large pink diamond was traced to international auction activity and withdrawn once identified. This story is a reminder that scams don't always target the billionaire directly. Sometimes they target the human layer around them, assistants, staff, gatekeepers, because that's where trust lives. Here's the question. If you're a billionaire, who do you trust more, your staff's loyalty or their vulnerability? Finally, it's Dmitry Rybolovlev and the most elegant trap of all, high-end art. Dmitry Rybolovlev, Russian billionaire investor, is known for high-profile art buying, but his passion for collecting allegedly opened the door to a long-running, high-dollar dispute involving art dealer Yves Bouvier. As described, the alleged pattern was simple. Bouvier would acquire artworks and resell them to Rybolovlev at massive markups. One example cited, In 2013, Salvador Mundi allegedly bought for $75 million and sold onward for $127.5 million shortly after. In total, Rybolovlev has claimed he overpaid across dozens of artworks by roughly $1 billion. This is the billionaire version of a street hustle, except the street is a private jet terminal and the goods are masterpieces. Because the truth is, luxury itself can be the trap. When you enter markets built on secrecy, prestige, and whispered pricing, you don't always know if you're buying a treasure or buying someone else's profit. Now, zoom out. Different countries, different crimes, but the same mechanics. Villas, mansions, secure streets, private exhibitions, even prisons. The setting changes, but the weakness doesn't. Routine, visibility, and a human inside the system. The bigger the fortune, the more worth it becomes to plan. Sometimes with force, sometimes with patience, sometimes with nothing but a phone call and the right lie. Because money can buy walls, guards, and cameras, but it can't buy certainty. It can't buy people who never slip, and it can't buy a life that isn't predictable. So tell me, which of these cases shocked you the most, and which one felt the most avoidable? Drop your answer in the comments. If you want more stories like this, where luxury turns into vulnerability, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because the next episode goes deeper into how these crews pick targets and why the richest lifestyles are often the easiest to map.